I told my classmate why she was adopted, all because of a pork chop. Okay, back in 7th grade, I was a fat kid who likes to eat food all day. After our class ended, we had our recess and the canteen was cooking pork chop. The smell of pork chop went to our room, and I was salivating. So I went to our canteen and bought some pork chop. For a 7th grader like me, it was expensive, because I had a meager amount of lunch money. My classmate, a girl, approached my table, and she was taunting me and bothering my peaceful eating. I was irritated, and I told her to stop, but she won't budge, and took my pork chop. I was furious. I'm afraid it'll drop on the floor. Out of my anger, I told her, "Stop it, give it back to me. Do you know why you're adopted? Because your parents don't like you." I saw her face in shock, and returned my pork chop. Then, she went to her best friend, and I cried. The reason I knew she was adopted is because her best friend told me the other day. I apologized to her, but I think it scarred her for life. Until today, I still feel guilty about myself, and I always think, why did I say that? Top 5 most famous people in the world. Well, you could go on famous birthdays and search up, say, me, and find me as the 75th most famous person in the world. This app would say Charli D'Amelio is the most famous person in the world, when we know that's not true. By combining all Google searches, we can find out a more accurate one, and not a list only considering the ideas of people under the age of 25. Number 5, Drake. You'd think he'd be higher. Number 4, Michael Jackson. But he dead though. I know. Number 3, Number 3, Donald Trump, as to be expected. Number 2, and my favorite actor, Will Smith. It makes sense. He's been famous long before most of us have even been alive. Number 1. The Rock. He's one of the only 3 people in the entire world that if you put him in the movie, the sales will go up by a crazy amount. There you have it. The most famous people in the world. And me. Top 3 freak shows. Number 3. The Woolly Girl. The genetic condition, giving her werewolf syndrome, caused her mom to sell her to the freak show at only 2 years old. By the age of 5, she was touring the USA, and for some reason, had no teeth. Number 2, King of the Freaks. He was born without legs, but arguably had the best and most successful life out of all the freak shows. He even starred in movies such as Freaks and many Tarzan movies. He was known as fun-loving and kind, and even lived up until his 70s, only just dying in the 90s. Number 1, Cuckoo the Bird Girl. Born in 1880, she suffered from a skeletal disorder called Virchow-Seckel syndrome, which contributed to her beak-like nose, bald head, toothless mouth, and mostly blind eyes. While she was intellectually disabled, she was still known as happy and sweet. Top 3 biggest L's of 2020. Number 3, those 2 guards that fell asleep that were supposed to be watching Jeffrey Epstein while he played with his bed sheets and accidentally got hurt. Number 2, anybody over the age of 80. You might as well hunker down for the next 5 years, because the way the US is handling it, the coronavirus is not going away. Number 1, me having this many followers on TikTok and this many on IG. While I may have took the biggest L, at least I'm not this guy. This man just got exposed big time by the Ghislaine Maxwell documents being uncovered. Spontaneous human combustion. Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. For 300 years, there have reportedly been over 200 cited cases of a mysterious, rare phenomenon that kills people, one in which the body is said to ignite by itself and burn its victims alive, yet mostly leaves their surroundings alone. What causes spontaneous human combustion? On September 15th, 1982, Jeannie Saffin eventually wrapped into flames while sitting on a chair. Her father, who was a witness of this incident, says he saw flashes of light coming from the corner of his eyes. He turned around to look at her, and she was covered in flames. She didn't cry or even move. During the police investigation, they found no reason for Jeannie's combustion. There was no sign of burning in the house except for her body. Her cause of death is still unknown. Almost every one of these spontaneous human combustion cases are still up for interpretation. Is there a tangible cause, or is the cause in force by an unexplainable nature? 5 interesting stuff. Number 5, the first ever recorded street fight in North England in 1901. Number 4, this is the Chichen Itza Pyramid, built by the Mayans the day it was discovered in 1892, compared to how we see it today. Number 3, here we see the common horse centipede setting. I can guarantee you one of these is in your house right now. Number 2, a lyrebird mimicking the sounds of construction after his forest was halved. Number 1, the short-term memory of a chimpanzee compared to a human's is far superior and what's believed to be what they traded for instead of language comprehension. top 3 worst memes ever. Number 3. Big Chungus. The funny was literally, he big, so he funny. No layers, no class, no funny. Number 2.
Do you know the way?
Ugandan Knuckles. This may have even been your introduction into memes because of how big it got. I won't lie to you, it did start out funny, but the media, the children, the cringe meme pages, milked the ever-loving They milked him so much, just seeing his face is annoying these days. And number 1, the first 2 may have been controversial, but I'm sure we can all agree.
Exercise. I thought you said extra
Respect
fries.
your parents.
If stress
They burned
calories,
school
I'd
without
be a
Google.
supermodel.
Or the worst thing to ever be created, mothers on the Facebook's meme of choice. For every terrible situation. I'm not sure which one of you taught your mothers to make memes, but please, stop. We have a species on this planet living among us. It's not a plant, it's not an animal, and it's well researched. Yeast, rust, must, mildews, molds, and mushrooms. These fungi may seem like plants, but their DNA is closer to any living humans than all the plants on Earth. Believe it or not, a fungus is the largest living organism on this planet. Meet humongous fungus. This is a 2,400-year-old mushroom and it spans 2,000 acres. Some funguses humans have eaten for thousands of years, and it's said to take them on a spiritual journey to enlightenment. Some even believe it to be a device for alien contact. What do you think? The Backrooms. Quantum tunneling is a random phenomenon in which particles phase through barriers such as walls, floors, and any objects of matter. Many physicists have agreed it's theoretically possible, and quantum tunneling is how you access the backrooms, but it's always by accident. Imagine this. You're chilling in your room, listening to music, reading a book, and out of nowhere, you're randomly faced with the floor. You look around and it's an endless mono-yellow tunnel of hallways, with the only noise being a background buzz of old fluorescent light bulbs. The scary part is, most people in the world have agreed the depictions of the backrooms look eerily familiar. And it takes months and months to escape. And when you do, all you've done is exited level 0, and there are 5 more to go. And unfortunately, they only get worse. The deepest hole on Earth. The Kola Super Deep Borehole is the deepest hole ever dug, reaching around 7.5 miles into the Earth, or around 12,262 kilometers. The scientists and engineers who dug the hole made it expecting to go as deep as possible, predicting to get around 9 miles into the Earth, but fell short. They had to give up due to unexpectedly high temperatures, these temperatures being 365 degrees Fahrenheit, or 180 Celsius. A couple other holes have been dug fractions of a mile deeper, but couldn't maintain the depth, causing this hole, which was finished being dug in 1992 to stay the deepest. And the reason why it's nearly impossible to go deeper without some new technology is because at these temperatures, the rock seems to act more like malleable plastic, refilling in the hole whenever it's dug. The Borehole is even deeper than the naturally forming Mariana Trench.